Have you ever felt like the world keeps telling you who you are, but deep down, you know there's something greater inside you? In the dark silence of the night, Jacob wrestled alone, heart pounding, soul weary, beneath a sky that knew his secrets. He wasn't just fighting an angel, he was fighting everything the world had called him: deceiver, trickster, failure. But in that midnight moment, something divine unfolded. He clung to the presence of God, desperate, trembling. "I will not let you go unless you bless me," he cried. And the reply came like thunder wrapped in grace. "What is your name?" A question not for information but transformation. "Jacob," he confessed. And with a single breath, the voice from heaven rewrote his identity. "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed." Genesis 32:28. That night, the world didn't change. He did. Because God said, "You are who I say you are." Moses stood barefoot, trembling before a burning bush that refused to be consumed. His past haunted him: murder, exile, stuttering speech. "Who am I to go to Pharaoh?" he asked, broken and unsure. And the voice of God replied with a name that shakes the earth and stills the soul: "I am who I am." Exodus 3:14. It wasn't just God revealing himself, it was God planting that same identity inside Moses. The "I am" was enough so Moses could be enough, not by strength, not by perfection, but by the calling. God didn't need him flawless, he needed him faithful. And with shaking hands and a heart lit by fire, Moses walked back into Egypt not as a fugitive, but as a deliverer. David was the forgotten son, left in the fields while his brothers stood before the prophet. No one saw a king in the shepherd boy, but God did. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. Oil flowed, and the boy with a sling became the man with a crown. But even kings fall. David failed, badly. Adultery, murder. A broken man brought to his knees. Yet when he cried, "Create in me a clean heart, O God," the answer wasn't rejection, it was restoration. David was never perfect, but he was chosen, called, and crowned by grace. And when God speaks your name, your past loses its power. Then came Peter, fiery, impulsive, bold. "Even if everyone else falls away, I won't," he swore. But he did. 3 denials, a rooster's cry, shame like a tidal wave. He went back to fishing, back to who he thought he was before Jesus called him. But Jesus came back for him, not with condemnation, but with breakfast on the shore and a question: "Do you love me?" 3 times, 3 redemptions. "Feed my sheep," Jesus said. And in that moment the failure became the foundation. The same Peter who fell became the rock upon which the church would stand. John 21:15-17. Because Jesus doesn't cancel your calling when you stumble, he completes it when you return. So what about you? When the world calls you broken, failure, not enough, remember that's not the voice that created you. The one who formed you in the womb says, "You are fearfully and wonderfully made." Psalm 139:14. When fear whispers you're unqualified, God declares, "My grace is sufficient." When doubt says you've gone too far, his mercy says, "Come home." You are who God says you are, chosen, redeemed, loved enough, not because of who you've been, but because of who he is. This is your story too. A story of names changed, hearts restored, purpose reborn. You've wrestled, you've failed, you've been overlooked, but like Jacob, Moses, David, and Peter, your name is about to change. You are not your past, you are not your pain, you are not what they said, you are who he says you are. And he calls you child, overcomer, masterpiece, beloved. So the next time you're told you're not worthy, remember the voice that never changes. The same voice that spoke the stars into the sky says, "You are mine." Stand up, breathe in, wipe your tears, because your story is just beginning. And what's ahead is far greater than what's behind. If God says it, it be. If God calls you, he equip you. If God names you, no one can unname you. Let them doubt, let them forget, but never stop believing in the one who never forgets your name. You are who he says you are. And if this message touched your heart, there's more to come. More hope, more healing, more truth. Don't scroll away, stay with us. Subscribe, share, and walk with us through the stories that prove God still writes miracles. Because your next chapter, it's going to be powerful. Thank you for all your love and support.